Hey, Zern listeners, 90 Day Fiancé. Let's watch.
Yeah, considering the fact that I can't work right now and I'm living in your father's house and we are holding on to this secret, I'm just so worried this is going to piss him off so much. So it's just so heavy.
But like, we're not telling him before the wedding. It's just gonna add more stress on them. They've already put a lot of money into our wedding. Like, I want them all to have a good.
Yeah, so he said it just makes him feel worried and he has normal feelings. That's all he said. He wasn't pressured. Now, who knows? They edited it, I think. But at the very least, the way that it was edited, he was talking about how he's feeling, which is very healthy and very functional. He wasn't saying we need to do this other thing, and he would be in the right to do so. I mean, it is her parents, but it's, you know, he's a part of the situation. So, and there's no real reason why Emily wouldn't tell the parents. There's no practical reason other than what she's saying right now, I guess, is she doesn't want to stress them out. But I think Emily is what she's saying. I hadn't thought about this originally, was the parents might actually not pay for the wedding, which would be rational, right? If the parents are like, well, one, like, why should we like shell out all this money when you're just continuing to be a drain on our lives with your stupid decisions? I don't know. I'm not saying I would say that, but we could imagine the parents maybe saying that. But she's also just avoiding in a very childish way. You know, this is what children do. They get a bad grade or they flunk a class and they hide their report card in their backpack and they don't. This is before it was. I'm sure it's all online now, right? You know what I mean? This is like they avoid it, or they break something and they hide it under the bed. It's like, well, eventually the parents are going to find out. So that's what children do, and that's natural for children because their brain isn't developed yet. They don't understand, and they don't have the moral compass that adults do typically. But yeah, she's not thinking about, one, how Kobe would feel, and two, how the parents will feel. I mean, just imagine that after the wedding, she says, oh, and by the way, we got pregnant, and we've known for months. The parents naturally are going to be extremely hurt by that. Like, wait, so you knew and you didn't say? Did you not tell me because you didn't want us to pull back on paying for the wedding? You know, because the other thing the parents could say is, we should be saving our money because you're going to be having 2 kids now. So we shouldn't be spending a lot of money on a wedding. So yikes. Now, I'm always saying, just state how you feel and then your partner hopefully will rise to the occasion. So Kobe says, you know, he's like, I want to tell the dad, but I don't want to say that directly. And so I'll just speak from my primary feelings. I'm worried is what he said. And just leaves it up. And then Emily, instead of empathy, you know, Emily could have said, yeah, I'm worried too. And you're right to be worried. And I'm glad you're worried. It means that you have a heart and that you care. But I'm just not ready to do it yet. Is that okay? That kind of thing. But that's not what she says. And the tone that she has is just so condescending. It's so patronizing. So let's re-listen to that.
And I'm living in your father's house and we are holding on to this secret. I'm just so worried this is going to piss him off so much. So it's just so heavy.
But like, we're not telling him before the wedding. It's just gonna add more stress on them. They've already put a lot of money into our wedding. Like, I want them all to have a good time and then we can tell them. So we'll be fine.
Yeah, I mean, just that tone. Oh my God. Oh, it's so aggravating. Just so condescending, and for no reason. He's not saying like, I want you to cut off your toe, and she's like, look, I'm not going to do that. He's saying, I'm worried that your parents are going to be hurt by us lying to them. And then this attitude, just dismissive. It's just so it's so upsetting, you know. Now, on the scale of things on this show, it's not as big as other issues we've seen, but I don't know. It's like nails on a chalkboard to me. Is it to you? That let's rewatch that and put more nails on chalkboard.
I'm just so worried this is going to piss him off so much. So it's just so heavy.
But like, we're not telling him before the wedding. It's just gonna add more stress on them. They've already put a lot of money into our wedding. Like, I want them all to have a good time and then we can tell them. So we'll be fine.
I mean, the second time I listened, it's not as condescending as I thought the first time. I think she's in her way trying to reassure him or something. The other thing I'll say that now that I'm remembering last week when they were at the drugstore and they're both in shock about being pregnant. They shouldn't be, given their methods of birth control, in quotes. But they're in shock, and he's like, oh, I don't know what to say. And instead of her recognizing that the two of them are really in a very tough spot and regretting a lot of their decisions, I got the feeling like Kobe was like, oh, my birth control method was... I also remember Kobe actually saying something about some pseudoscientific notion about birth control and it causing problems. Something like if she went on the pill that it would make her infertile or something, which is upsetting. Again, the internet, right freaking there. So, anyway, so it's fine. They're having kids. Hopefully everything will be fine. But anyway, then Emily turns to Kobe and she's like, "You seem upset. You know, meaning I'm angry at you that you're not jubilant and joyous," even though Emily had expressed no joy herself. She had only been like, "Oh," and then Kobe is, I think, feeling the weight of that reality. And it's literally in the first couple minutes of thinking about that. And then she's angry at him that he's not like, yay, this is fantastic. I mean, it would have been fine if he would have been like that. And it's fine if she had a question of like, does this mean you want to leave me now? Like, that would be a normal worry that someone in her position would have. Just like, is this going to be too much for you? Are you rethinking about even being with me? Is that, you could ask that question again, coming from that I'm worried point of view. And then I'm guessing he would have said, no, I'm not saying that. I'm just thinking about how hard this is going to be. And I'm regretting the birth control methods that I'm using. And I'm regretting not just Google. I mean, let's just Google it. All right. So literally the first thing that came up, all I did was Google birth control pill myth. And halfway down the page on Medical News Today, it says, it's a myth that birth control damages fertility. So, and they have actual studies that are listed there. So it's just like, so, and also let's Google their birth control method and the percentage. All right. So first thing that comes up, first thing I clicked on when I searched for withdrawal method effectiveness, it says first year failure rates vary from 4% with perfect usage and 22% with typical usage, meaning that for people, the average person, if they use a withdrawal method for a year, 22% of the time they will get pregnant within that first year. And of course, we know that given their description, they did not use it perfectly. In fact, they didn't even use it because I think she thought she wasn't ovulating, but it's like, again, I teach sex ed to 9th graders and they understand the basics that go beyond apparently their knowledge. So it's frustrating because so many people are suffering and thus it affects their parenting, which affects their attunement rate to the child, which affects the attachment of the child and the development of all sorts of psychological issues for that child, who go on to have issues of their own with decision making and drug abuse and all sorts of, and conflict and domestic violence, intimate partner violence, crime. I'm not saying it's automatic, of course, but it raises those risks. And then they pass those issues onto their kids. And if you just look it up, the first thing you look up, and then you can plan it out. You get a little bit more breathing room. You can think a little bit longer. Like, okay, when maybe you have 10 kids, but you plan them out. Like, okay, this is when we want them. And lots of research shows that when parents have children before they want them, it's associated with all sorts of bad things. So it's not that you're having kids at a certain rate, because it's a matter of having kids when you don't want them. And the the reasons that are outside and also just internally, right? You want to feel like you're fully on board with the whole thing. And it can affect the way you even look at the child, because that child was like not supposed to be here, and it can get under your skin a little bit. It doesn't always, but anyway, so it's just upsetting to see people shooting themselves in the foot and raising the risk of problems with their children because they just didn't look at the internet. Now, I don't want to shame people for having children that are unplanned. Literally, me and all my siblings were unplanned. I know that. Me and my 3 brothers and sisters, all of us were extremely unplanned. I'm not shaming people for having unplanned pregnancies. That's a classist trope that is common, and I'm not going to participate in that. So I'm not shaming it. I feel bad for them and the negative impact it's going to have on their life. It's not going to be tremendous. They'll figure it out. There's absolute worse things you can do as a human and as a parent. So it's just unfortunate to see people suffering, and that results in them having to lie to their parents and maybe really alienate their parents and hurt them because you just didn't Google something.
We ordered them from China.
So what I told you on our way coming here, that they're already on the way to Salina.
Oh, God. Kobe and I have been trying to play it cool lately. But honestly, things have been super stressful. And there's definitely been a lot more bickering after we found out I was pregnant.
Who? I don't even know who your groomsmen are.
Me neither.
Right, and that's another known risk, is that when you start to suffer with bad family planning, it can strain the marriage, which causes all sorts of problems, not only in the marriage, but also with providing a consistent parenting style for the kids.
2 other guys, Pascal and Sam, they're going to be coming over from Ohio.
Okay.
And then Temperature is already in town. He's lodging in his hotel, so I need to meet him and hang.
All right. Well, if you didn't know already, we have merch. I have talked recently about how our merch situation was a bit shaky, but we ironed it out, or Stacy, my wife, ironed out all the details. So there should be merch up and running if you want t-shirts and mugs and all that kind of stuff. And there's always new designs coming out. We might have a brand new design coming out for our 14th anniversary show, which is coming up in September, our live show on YouTube. So you can do that. Also, I'm on Cameo. It's nice to give people happy birthday messages and happy anniversary messages. And everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.